Hey guys, what's up? My name is Cameron Penner and welcome to the tutorial where I teach you how to make Flappy Bird. Should look something like this by the time we're done, except less laggy, and should be fun. Let's crack right on with the tutorial. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do is create our bird, and we can call that whatever we want. I'm going to call it bird, and we're going to select a sprite, and actually I just found a sprite set on the internet by searching Flappy Bird sprite set, but what I'm going to do is I've already put it in here and I'm going to stretch it, and I'm going to do 300% size, and I want to say poor and keep aspect ratio, and that's going to scale it up and keep it pixely. So now we're just going to center that, and that should be good. And then we're going to add an event, mouse, global left pressed, and we're going to add some code. And the code is very simple, so don't be scared away that that we're using GML here, because it should be fairly easy to follow along with. What we want to do is say gravity equals 2, and also v speed equals negative I think 20. So what this is going to do is we're going to put this bird in here, and we're going to change up this room yet. Actually, we'll do that right now. Background, we want to set the background to big city. We want to stretch it, and we want to set the size of the room to be 429 by 768. And that is just the size of this here times 3. So now when you see this here, when we click, then it lags a lot. And let's try this one more time and get a little bit less lag. So you saw he was hovering there at the beginning, and now every time we click, then he jumps up a little bit. So that's good. But what we want to do is create, we want to say, actually we're going to do this in here just because it's more uniform to do all the same way. So we're going to say image underscore speed equals, we're going to say 0.3 this time. And also we're going to say global left, actually we're going to set that to 0, but we're going to copy that first. So it's going to start off at 0, and now we're going to say every time we click, then he's going to flap, and animation end, we want to say image speed equals 0. And we also want to say image index equals 0. And what this is going to do is, I don't think we actually need that, but it's just good to have it there just in case. What this does is he's here normally, and then when we flap, then he flaps down, and then he brings his arm up, and then when we get to the animation, then here, I'll just show you. It's easier this way. Every time we click flap, then he just flaps his little birdie wing. So that's good. Moving on. That's pretty much done. Let's add an object, and this is going to be the grass, or you can call it ground, whatever you like. And we're going to get sprite grass, and we're going to scale this up as well, just by going stretch it by 300%. Whoops. There we go. And we're going to take that guy, and we're going to toss him into the room right down there. Should be fine. It's going a little bit under, but that's alright. And now we want to go to our bird. Actually, let's add the pipes as well first. Here we're going to call this pipe top. We're going to select the pipe top, scale that up, and then we're going to center that. Actually, we're going to not center that. 0, and then Y is going to be the height, so we're going to say 405, and that's going to put it right in this bottom left corner here. And then we are also going to make the pipe bottom. We're going to call it that pipe bottom. Select the bottom pipe. Scale that up. Just like so. And now this point is in this top left corner here. And this one we're going to parent to the top pipe. So it'll do the same thing as the top, right? For this one, we are going to say step control if open bracket x is less than say negative 100. I'm not sure what the actual width is, and we're just going to skip that. So if it's less than that, then instance destroy. And that'll just destroy itself when it gets outside of the room on the left side. And we also want to say create h speed equals -6. And the bottom pipe will do the exact same thing because it's parented to this pipe. So that's all good. And now what we want to do is for our bird, we want to say collision with top pipe. We want to say alive, or we want to say dead equals 1. And then in our creation event, we're going to add another variable here, dead equals 0. And now for the left click, we will only flap and go up if dead equals 0. That means he's not dead, and this should be an equals equals. Then they'll do those things, and just put these are just curly brackets that surround this stuff here that happens as a result of the if. The next thing we want to do is at event collision with grass. We want to high score show, and then we'll just say score. And that will result the high score table, and then game restart. And that will restart our game. And also we should actually say score equals 0 here, just because sometimes the game doesn't like to restart the score. So when we run this now, you're going to see an error in pipe top at line 5. Let's fix that. Is that here? Nope. That's here. That one's an open bracket. That should be closed. So let's run this again. And that's good. And then when we hit the grass, it shows a high score table. So that's good. What we want now is we want the pipes coming in. So we are going to add an object control, and we want to we don't need a sprite there, and we want to say create alarm square brackets 0 equals 60. And then we're going to copy that and add an event in alarm 0. We are going to set the alarm again, and we're also going to now create our pipes. So to do that, we say instance create, and then we're going to open that, and we're going to say room width, and then we're going to say y is going to be, we'll fill this in later, and then we'll say object pipe top. Will that fill it in for us? No, it won't. Okay. So what we want to do here is position, and we can do one of these guys here just to make it local. Position equals, oh, actually we gotta do that first. And those are semicolons at the end if you can't see that. Position equals random, and we want to say random 300, and then we want to say plus 150. And what this variable is how high in the room our pipes are going to be. And this will be random for every time they're created, right? So here we want to actually say, oh, and we should, yeah, sorry. We want to add another variable here called comma spread. So if you just put a comma in between there, you can initialize two variables at once. So now we want spread equals, and we want that to be 150, and that's going to be the distance in between the pipes. And this just makes it so it's easier to modify later on. And so here we want this to be position minus spread divided by 2. And then we're going to copy this here, and we are going to do pipe bottom, and this is going to be a plus. And that should already work, I think, if we put it in the room. Let's put it in the room there. There we go. So now we're going to see our pipes are going to start coming through, and that's all working good. I hit the pipe and then I died. Let's hit escape to close that and that. The next thing we want is the bird to change angles, right? If you played the original, you know he kind of changes angles as he goes. So we want to say left pressed. If he's not dead, we want to say facing equals, we're going to say 15. We're going to say 10. Should be fine. And then we also want to set an alarm. Alarm square bracket 0 semicolon. Oh, wait. Equals 20. And then the semicolon. And then in the alarm 0, we want to say facing equals negative 270. And now we want to add a step event. And this is going to change the direction that he's facing. You already have almost a functional game minus a score, but this is all just for fun. What we want to do here is if image angle is greater than facing, then we want to say image angle minus equals 5. I forget what speed I did. We'll try that for now, and if we don't like it, then we'll actually add a variable. Turn speed, we'll add an underscore. Turn underscore speed equals 5. And then we'll just go like this. And that's an open bracket again, that's silly. Else if image angle is less than facing, then we want to do pretty much the same thing, except this should be a plus equals instead. And that should already work. We should say facing equals 0. Just initiate that. And if you're doing this on your own, then you'll be seeing what he's doing there, and it looks good. And so that all works. The next thing we want to do is add our score. So let's add an object. Object score, or point, we'll call it. And we'll make a new sprite for this. We'll call the sprite point edit, and we are going to make a new sprite, and we're going to make the height 100 and the width 32 is fine. And then we're just going to dump this guy red, because I like making my masks red. We're going to center that, and then we're going to make the X be 0. And this guy is going to not be visible. And this guy is going to create set h speed equals -6. Whoa, that would be fast, wouldn't it? -6, so that should be good. And now we want to say bird add event collision object point with bracket other, and then open these curly brackets. We want to say instance destroy, and then we want to say score plus equals 1, and that is going to work. And we also want to say if dead equals 0, just in case. And this should be 2 equals, even though GameMaker lets you do it with only 1. You really should be putting 2 in there. So that, sorry, I just get a little OCD with my tabs. So that should be a nearly fully functional game, except our control doesn't create the points. So we're just going to copy that, take out this plus spread thing, and just create an object point, and I think we're done. Let's try running that here. Two points. We're doing good so far. 3. Boom. And now I think we had a little bit of troubles where I was flying through pipes. No, we didn't. Okay. What the reason that's deceiving is because in the original, I think when you collide with a pipe, all the pipes stop moving. So we're going to do that. Collide with pipe. We're going to say with pipe top step. In here, we're going to check if object bird dot dead equals 1. We want a double equals there. Then we say h speed equals 0. And normally if you're checking variables on other objects, you want to make sure that object exists for sure. Otherwise you get silly errors. And so what you could do if your bird was going to be getting deleted is just check if the number of birds is greater than 0, and then check the variable. Otherwise you get errors. So here we go like this. When we hit a pipe, then everything stops moving, and it's a little nicer. So that's all good. Now I think in the version I showed you, we actually showed the score in the middle of the room, so maybe we'll do that. Alright, to add a sprite as a font, you want to do that right at the beginning of the game. So in the creation event of the controller, we are going to add a global variable, and this means from now on that variable is going to be, you can reference it from any object without saying the global dot. And we're just going to say fnt numbers, and then we're going to say fnt numbers equals font underscore add sprite. Whoops, sprite. That's a little silly. Okay, and then we're going to open a bracket, and then we're going to say the name of the sprite. And so in this case, it's sprite large font. And then going to do a comma, and first is the first character in your sprite. And so what you're going to want to do is look up the ASCII character value of whatever the first letter is in your sprite, and just Google ASCII, and it'll give you a bit of information on what number is which. But for this, we can just say ord, open bracket, and then we can just quote a 0 and say that's where it starts. And we're not using any other characters other than that, so that should be fine. And then we're going to say comma true, and that just, what that means is is the width of the character proportionate depending on the width of each individual frame or just the image itself? And so we're just going to say true, even though it doesn't matter for this sprite. And then -1 is for separation, and I'll just choose the default separation, I think. So now in our draw here, we can say draw set font, and then we can just say fnt numbers, and then we can draw, and then we'll just look down here, draw text. We'll just do this guy here, and then we're going to say room width divided by 2, comma 20, comma, and then we're going to say to string. Oh, we don't need a 2, we just need string. So we're going to say string open bracket and then the value, which is going to be score. Then we close that off and then go like that. And now if we run this, you're going to see our score is up there. And apparently we're getting points, even though we're not flying. So that's a flaw. We don't want to set this alarm. We want to go like this. We want the bird, when we left pressed, we want to say if gravity equals 0, then we're going to set the gravity, else nothing. And then in here we also want to say object control dot alarm 0 equals 60, and that should actually we can set this to a smaller number. We'll just say 20. And what this will do is now the controller won't start sending stuff until we've started playing the game. And you can see our font up there is very small, and that is simply because we haven't scaled it up. So we'll just scale that up 300 times. Actually, we'll do this one a couple more times. We'll just say 600. And that's really big, and that's okay. And then there's also some other stuff we want to do later on. This is getting longer. We're done, but I'm just going to keep going and fill in a little bit more information. So the next thing we want to do is for our control object, we want to say draw set color, and we want to say C_white, and that's going to do that. And we also want to draw set HLine. There it is. And so we want this to be FA_center, just like that. And now we're going to see our score is appearing there, and that's going to update as we go. And then one last problem. Grass, -1. Boom. And we're done. So, actually, I think we have one more flaw, right? This guy's not reaching all the way to the bottom. So, pipe bottom, edit sprite, transform, resize canvas. This is an easy fix. We'll just make this like 450. And then in here, we'll just go like this. Control C, Control V, and boom. Good enough. And also, the grass isn't moving. So what we want to do is go in here and look at how far it has to move before it repeats. And it looks like it moves 8 pixels. And so for this guy, we're going to say advent h speed equals -6. And then we want to say advent step and step if x is less than -8, then x plus equals 8. The number is 24. So we want this to be x minus 24 and then x plus 24. So what that's going to do is the grass is just going to keep moving like that. And when it gets too far, it's just going to jump over again and repeat itself. So that's cool. So that is Flappy Bird in Game Maker. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.